Macy's. Yep. Former employee comes out and says Macy's is racist. Macy's targets black people. They actually have a code to let you know there's a black person on the premises. Let's put up a picture of this whistleblower. His name is Raul Montez Jr. He began working the security. He's basically loss prevention. This is from a Macy's in Illinois, okay? He said they actually have a system to profile Black and Hispanic shoppers. He said he was so disgusted with the racism he saw that he refused to return to work until they made changes. Well, looks like they did not make changes because he has not returned to work. He explains his experience being pressured by the store to racially profile other shoppers. He said, and I quote, "I was in a hostile work environment. I felt pressured to stop people. They had a quota. They pushed me, Montez says. I have to be cathartic. They wanted me to stop African Americans and Hispanics." Now, this should be fascinating. You mean to tell me that Macy's loss prevention has a damn quota? What are we going to do? A quota. Now, I've been racially profiled inside of a Macy's. I've had loss prevention. He had a tight little yellow shirt anyway. I've been profiled inside of a Macy's, okay? By loss prevention. He acted as if he was going through clothing and look, I guess I look suspicious. Now, this is unsurprising to many of us, especially in the black community, that Macy's, a chain store, clothing store, engages in a practice of profiling. Not surprising. But the details that he lists, the codes that they use, extremely heartbreaking. He says that when Black or Hispanic customers entered the store, they were labeled by a code. 98 is the code for African Americans. Now remember, this is just them walking in. We got a code 98. It was 97 for Hispanics. They put the cameras on them by them walking in. You got somebody else following them in the store. Even when the man goes into the fitting room, I knew it was wrong to do that. And I looked at it and I said, this is wrong, okay? Mr. Montez said training videos use black actors to portray suspects. He also claims that loss prevention team members said racist things. Montez said he saw a loss prevention worker refuse to allow a pregnant black suspect to use the bathroom or use her cell phone. So think about this. Now remember, we talked about critical race theory and how it applies to various institutions, not only the institutions of law and policy, but the institution of corporate culture. These individuals were labeled as soon as they walked in the door. Let me tell you why this is problematic. They had no code for white people. White people walk in the door, there's silence. No code for white people. But as soon as a person of color walks in the door, they have an actual code for all people of color and a protocol to follow them. A technology protocol and a man on the ground protocol. Isn't that interesting? Macy's had a statement. Here's what they said. We have zero tolerance for profiling in our stores as reflected in our customer bill of rights. We welcome, accept, and respect every customer and are equally dedicated to creating a shopping experience that is inclusive and free from bias. We take this allegation seriously and are investigating this claim. Question. If your company has a customer bill of rights, it's probably because they have been systemically violating customers' rights. I'm just going out on a limb because I don't know of companies that have a bill of rights for customers without having a history of violating the rights of customers. So this young man says he was part of a 7-person security team for the store. It consisted of white, Hispanic, Asian employees. None of them were African American. He said, and I quote, Mr. Montez said, and I quote, I'm not going to return to this job to do this, to follow minorities. I'm not going to do this, Montez says. Let's put up his picture again. You're a hero in my book. I appreciate you standing up and saying something out loud. Many people, sir, would have simply continued. Maybe they had enough integrity to leave the job, but they would have continued to be silent about what happened. You took the additional step. I know that there are many people who are targeting you because of the truth you have told. Here at Indisputable, we support you. So feel the support coming from here. We thank you for what you've done. All right, Mr. Wiggins?
You know, Dr. Richey, as a digital news contributor and a content creator, I pride myself on adding analysis, maybe a precedent, maybe some perspective. This one is so simple that I don't have very much to say. So I want to ask you some additional questions.
Okay.
Where did number 98 come from? Like, is it a football player? As in, like, if a 98 comes in, they're gonna sack somebody? Like, is that what we're talking about? And I don't know where Oak Brook is, but like, how many times did they have to say 98 when a black person was just simply walking in?
Yeah.
Like, did they have to say that a lot? This one is easy. So this one is like almost done. And kudos to that man for resigning. And like you said, Dr. Richey, calling out the issue. And so we're gonna see from Macy's if they truly tolerate this kind of stuff from loss prevention moving forward, because they already put out the statement and we know what these statements are. Of course, they're gonna say something like that. So if loss prevention and the head of that department is still employed sometime in the near future, we're gonna see how much that is tolerated. But even beyond that, if they hire someone to replace loss prevention and this is still an issue, yeah, we know what's going on.
Yeah, so, and here's the thing.
Kudos to that man.
Yeah, and we know about it today. That local community, they are aware of it today, right? So that's happening now. And I will say this, he should be getting job offers from everywhere. If corporations actually believe what they said about diversity, inclusion, all of that, if that was true, this guy would have so many inboxes of recruiters saying, come join our company. We like people like you, but he's not, because the culture is adversarial to the written policy. They will say, this is your Bill of Rights. We believe in diversity, we believe in inclusion. And then when somebody actually stands up for those principles, he's all of a sudden put on a list that says no hire.